Greetings, lovely people. Something really interesting is happening between South Africa, United States, China, Japan, India, and this is a shift happening in South Africa. You know, the United States of America under the leadership of Donald Trump is practically, I can't say the United States is closing its door against South Africa. I believe the United States is doing whatever they are doing to not only South Africa but other African nations in terms of the tariff and things, with the aim of bringing them closer, putting that fear and that tough life into them, that hey, we are tough, you need to stick to us and go by our rules. It looks like that it's actually opening door for other competitors to slip in, and it's now giving more room for Africans to open to more opportunity. South Africa is standing at the crossroad, lovely people. As it looks like the United States is shutting its door against South Africa, Asia is rather welcoming South Africa with open arms. My goodness. Right now, lovely people, South Africa on one side, South Africa's strong trade tie with the United States are collapsing under heavy tariff. And one thing must surprise you, lovely people. Among the things that China, Japan, India, Russia is doing with South Africa, China is doing something that they have never done with any other nation before. Dive with me, let's get right into it. After the tariff and confrontation between South Africa and the United States, I posted in one of my videos that South Africa is looking for other alternatives. So they are making a lot of reforms and appealing, calling other people to come in and invest and try to fill the gap which is being created by the reason of the banter between South Africa and the United States. And right now, South Africa on one side, its strong tie with the United States are collapsing under these heavy tariffs. On the other side, countries like Japan, Russia, China, and India are opening their door wide, welcoming South Africa not as a burden, as the United States always see its partners, or as the United States is looking at South Africa. But these people are looking at South Africa as a key gateway to Africa's billion-strong consumer market, and also as real partners with opportunity, not a burden. Let me first of all put you on the right perspective. For many years, South Africa enjoyed preferential trade with America through a program called AGOA, that is the African Growth and Opportunity Act. This gives South African exports a big advantage in US market. But things changed under President Donald Trump. In April 2025, Washington imposed high tariff, a 30% tariff on South Africa export, the harshest in sub-Saharan Africa. This tariff hit hard the automotive industry of South Africa, the agricultural industry, the manufacturing industry. Trade experts and economic experts begin to warn that this could cost tens of thousands of jobs and slow down the entire economy. Even worse, it threatens to erase the benefit of AGOA completely, undoing decades of partnership between Pretoria and Washington. So in the middle of this, South Africa's confidence in US relations is shaking already. But while one door closes, lovely people, another door is opening from different places. Let's start with Japan. In Tokyo, South Africa is treated very differently compared to how the United States treats South Africa. At the 9th Tokyo International Conference on Africa Development, TICAD, where African leaders, world leaders, they meet there, even John Dramani Mahama went there. South Africa pitched itself as a destination for Japanese investment, and the response was pure optimism. And I noticed something, that all the African leaders who went to this particular meeting, I did not jam them in any of my videos because I watched closely. All of them were projecting opportunity and calling the interest of investors, convincing investors to come and invest in their country. None of them went in there with money like they usually do, which means that the pressure coming from the youth, from the Pan-African channels, from the Pan-African youth is affecting the leaders, and they are changing their behavior. They're no longer asking for money. They are talking business. So South Africa used this as a business platform. There at the summit, lovely people, the Japanese executives see South Africa as a gateway to the entire Africa continent. Toyota Tsusho CEO, some of their names, forgive me, don't laugh. If you laugh, you go to hell. Toyota Tissue CEO, that's the name there. His name is Toshi Ima. This man praised South Africa's auto sector, pointing to Toyota's first hybrid car built in South Africa. That has become the bestseller across Africa, and he declared, I quote, South Africa is a brand for Africa. With the African Continental Free Trade coming, cars produced in South Africa will travel across the African continent. Beautiful. So in short, lovely people, Japan sees South Africa as not just a partner, but as Africa's main entry point. Let's move from there and land with Russia. Russia has also stepped in. South Africa has also deepened ties with Russia. In June, Deputy President Paul Mashatile led a major delegation to Moscow. They met the Russian Prime Minister to discuss trade, energy, agriculture, healthcare, logistics, and infrastructure, according to updates. The deputy president told the Russian officials something very interesting. He said, and I quote, once you are in South Africa, you have access to a market of over 1 billion people across Africa. That is true. Both sides agree to expand cooperation, especially with Transnet, which is South Africa's logistic giant. This could mean new Russian partnership in railways, ports, and more. Russia see an opportunity, and South Africa is seeing a reliable partner. You see, they are filling the gap created by the United States, which is pushing South Africa to make a different choice. Now let's move to China. China stepped in the agricultural area. Lovely people, China too is moving quickly into South Africa. During a recent visit, South Africa's agriculture minister announced a groundbreaking deal between China and South Africa. China will now allow South Africa to export 5 different fruits at once. And these fruits are apricot, peaches, nectarines, plums, and prunes. These fruit, I've never eaten before. This is the first. China normally negotiates one product at a time, but this is the time that China agree on 5 products at a time. It is historic. And that is not all, lovely people. Talks are also underway to include cherry and mangoes. And this, for South Africa farmers, lovely people, this is a huge win. The Chinese market is actually enormous. And this diversification could balance the risk from US restrictions. And South Africa have much more advantage when you look at it, like BRICS like this. Beyond individual countries, South Africa also play a central role in BRICS, the most powerful emerging economic bloc with Brazil, China, Russia, India, and South Africa. And this particular BRICS bloc is expanding to include other countries like Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. So the name now moved from BRICS to BRICS Plus. Together, this group, lovely people, represent more than 40% of global trade, almost half of the world population. For South Africa, this is a chance to push African trade away from raw commodities towards value-added products, which we have been calling for, like things like cars, technology, and processed goods. That is not all. India also is in the pipeline. India is also strengthening ties. Bilateral trade between India and South Africa has jumped from $8 billion to $13 billion in just 5 years, according to report. India companies have invested $10 billion in South Africa, with more than 150 firms active in IT, mining, automobiles, and manufacturing. The Tata Motors is re-entering the South Africa passenger car market. So once again, South Africa is not just a partner, but a gateway to Africa, to these people. But to the United States, South Africa is a burden, and they are doing South Africa a favor. But now new doors are open. Somebody sang and said, when one door is closed, when one door is closed, many more is open. Oh, coming in from the cold. Don't mind me. So what does this all mean, lovely people? One side, the United States has closed its door with tariff and restrictions. And on the other side, Asia and other global powers are saying, welcome, South Africa. This shows how fast the world is changing. The US may no longer be South Africa's biggest hope for trade. Instead, South Africa is aligning with countries and blocs that see Africa's future of full of opportunity, not a burden. And you see, South Africa is being forced to make this particular choice, to either stay tied to old systems that are shutting it out, or embrace a new partners who see Africa not as a burden but as a land of opportunity. And this is one thing that the United States is missing, or the West is missing. You see, the other global powers, especially the Asia, when you talk about China and co, what they are doing, the reason why they are taking, it look like they are taking Africa away from the West, and the West is worried, is because Africa is tired of the tough attitude, the sanctions and things. So when Africa is disrespected by the West, the East is showing respect to fill the gap. That is how they are able to enter the market. China is very good at that. I said it countless times that is how China operates. China always look at where the loopholes are in the market. Whenever the Chinese want to enter a market, they look at the loopholes and then they go in. Do you know what happened? There were days in the life of Africa where African leaders begin to complain. That was about 2-3 years ago. Ruto was involved. They were complaining about disrespect from Washington and all that. And then all of a sudden, the Chinese are showing so much respect to Africans. Why? They realize that, okay, this is your problem. You want respect. Okay, we set the table of respect. Come in. West is operating on mood. They are not reliable. Today, they can wake up and change attitude. And China is saying, okay, don't worry. We will treat you as partners. And China is showing reliability. When African leaders go to meeting in Washington, in the West, they are being given 2 minutes each to speak. When they go to China, they have a time to talk about the things, express themselves. They give them time enough for them to express themselves. Inclusivity, equality. When African leaders go to Europe, you see European leaders have a long talk, say a lot of things, promising this and this. When they get to the term of African leaders, then they will come 1 minute. Some of their speeches we can even see in the mainstream media. But in China and Russia or whatever it is, when African leaders go there, they are given the time to express themselves. The other day, Museveni was even angry. That look, you look at the time and say, how many minutes is it? 2 minutes, eh? 2 minutes how? I did not travel all the way to come here to come and speak for 2 minutes. Yes. So he spoke and exceeded the time. African leaders feel that like they are beggars. That is who they are, according to me. That is who they are, though, because they branded themselves like that. But the East is not treating them as beggars. The East is providing or setting a table of partnership. The loopholes are the things that the East have decided to be filling. That is why we are here today. So as the United States is showing the tough attitude to bring people more closer, it's chasing people away, and the whole world is running towards the East. So South Africa, as the United States is shutting its door, expecting that South Africa will come and begging that, oh, we are begging, we are sorry, oh, make it easier for us and all that. No, they are looking for new market, new opportunity. That is where we are right now. And this right now, it is left with South Africa to make the most out of it, to bring prosperity to the people of South Africa and bring hope to the youth of South Africa, to bring job, to use this correctly, to bring job to the youth and all that. It depends. This is an opportunity. How they use it to the benefit of the people is what matters to some of us.